Welcome back to our construction series. In the previous episode, we covered the rebar work for the mat foundation. Now, we're ready to move on to the next step, constructing the shear wall on the already poured mat. Before we dive into the shear wall construction, let's quickly recap the mat foundation we completed in the last episode. The mat was poured with concrete, and the rebar was placed according to the structural design. The mat provides a solid base for the building, ensuring a stable foundation. Now that the mat is in place, we can start the shear wall construction. The first step is to set up the vertical rebar for the shear wall. The spacing for the vertical rebar is 140 mm, 150 mm, and 180 mm as specified in the design. This ensures the necessary structural integrity for the shear wall. Next, we'll begin tying the rebar together. Using steel binding wire, we carefully tie each vertical rebar to the horizontal rebar, creating a sturdy and interlocked frame. This process requires precision and attention to detail, as the strength of the shear wall depends on the proper placement and connection of the rebar. To further strengthen the shear wall, we'll install the stirrups at an 80 mm spacing. These stirrups act as reinforcement, providing additional support and stability to the structure. Additionally, we'll set up temporary bracing to ensure the shear wall remains upright and in the correct position during the construction process. With the rebar and stirrups in place, it's time to pour the concrete for the shear wall. We'll use a pump truck to carefully distribute the concrete, ensuring an even and consistent coverage throughout the shear wall. The concrete will need to cure for a specific duration before we can proceed to the next stage. Throughout the construction process, we'll conduct regular quality control checks to ensure the shear wall meets all the required specifications and safety standards. This includes verifying the rebar placement, the concrete strength, and the overall structural integrity of the shear wall. In this episode, we've witnessed the construction of the shear wall on the already poured mat foundation. By following the detailed specifications and using the appropriate construction techniques, we've ensured the shear wall will provide the necessary structural support for the building. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll explore the next stage of the construction process. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.